Captain Insano shows no mercy.
Straight cash, homie.
Hold on to your butts.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Basic Monsters Game Day podcast on SportsZone Chicago. I'm Ivan Vargas. That's Luke Nettles. Tough. We're going to go ahead and bypass that because we got to keep things moving. We'll talk about it later. I know you don't want to talk about it right now. I know you don't want to talk about it right now. All right, guys. Right now, we got two special guests for you. We're going to go ahead and bring them out. Number one, we're going to start out with, you know him from the Tape Never Lies Network. He is the draft doctor himself, Phil Ottochian. Phil, what is up, brother?
What's up, guys? How you doing tonight?
Good.
Pretty good. Hopefully, my prediction of a Bears loss is folly. But I'm looking for the Packers to find some luck and end up pulling this one off. But let's bring in our other guest, Brandon Suarez from the On Tap Sportsnet. Brandon, what is up, dude? We haven't seen you in a couple weeks.
I'm back. Mitch is back. It's time to win a football game. The whole nation is watching, and a couple of the other dominoes that, for my tinfoil hat theory of the Bears somehow finding a way to get in the playoffs, is still alive. So we're still on the graphic.
Good. Well, let's hope you're right. Let's hope they find a way to win. Phil, Luke had a question for you, man. That it was interesting to me because he was mentioning about how you're seeing the Lions, you're seeing other teams fire their GM, fire their head coach. We already know how each other feels about Matt Nagy. I don't want to go ahead and stay too long on him. But if he is fired,
yep,
and you see the GM fired in Ryan Pace, Luke was saying that he would like to see a head coach / GM step into play just to eliminate the control that the front office has. And I'm talking about the Ted Phillips. I'm talking about the McCaskies. Something like that. Do you think something like that might benefit the Bears in the long term?
Well, it's a great question. It comes down into who, a Bill Parcells, somebody who's been at that position where they have head coaching experience as well as the architect of a football team. You think of Jimmy Johnson, and it's an archaic type of thing. Gruden went out and hired this dude, what's his name, from the NFL Network, Mike Mayock. You see they kind of build. I understand exactly what Luke is saying, but you look at this new NFL and you have a hard time finding those candidates. It's almost like, I've said this many times on our show, Ernie Accorsi is a blogger that became a writer, and then all of a sudden he's a GM. With my family roots in the NFL, I know Ernie's a shoe salesman. He hired a shoe salesman. Here we are with Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, who has proven time and time again he doesn't understand situational football and personnel. Tonight, you got a whole hodgepodge of offensive line. I don't want to jump into that yet, but to answer your question, you got to find the right person that can handle. That's a tough job. A head coach should obviously be involved with the personnel that you want to bring in here to alleviate Ted Phillips and the corporate communication world that is the Chicago Bears is something that needs to be done. I just don't see that happening unless they hire, and I've had a list of candidates to be the football president, the czar, and he hires the GM, and then they get the head coach together. That's what's going to be the penicillin for this, because you're right, Luke. You can't have this corporate Ted Phillips and these people involved. You're the charter franchise of the Chicago Bears. You should know every football guy. You had one that was homegrown, and now he's with the Colts. Mm-hmm. You refused. You know why? And I know the story behind this. I'll share it with you on this network. Because he said, I want Ted Phillips gone, and I want Jay Cutler gone. Those are the first two moves Ballard wanted to do. Instead, they went with Ryan Pace, kind of a push boy. He's the dough. He's mixing the dough for you. And now you're going to go with John. We're going to tell you to go get John Fox. Well, you saw how all this worked. It needs to be a clear cut. Decide what you're going to do with the quarterback position, GM, and head coach. Because, tonight is the crossroads game, as I said on Braggs' show early this morning.
Right.
National stage, head coach, clearly overwhelmed with the job. So many fingers are being pointed. You heard Mitch earlier in the week saying, hope now these coaches are going to listen to. He's frustrated. He has pride. His family is taking all that crap out there. I don't know if I could swear.
No, you can swear all you want.
Okay. He's taking all that shit. Now, we saw what happened. Maggie's 2.0 offense is not successful with Maggie's hand-picked guy, and I don't want to hear any shit. He went out. He was involved with Cole Kmet in that pick. Obviously, a huge need on offensive line, quarterback development. All these things have been skipped. So there's so many fingers to point and so many reasons why, Luke. I believe you got to get Doug Plank, this Gary Fensig, Peyton Manning up in there to be the president of football operations and let them find the right person to be the GM. Don't just listen to the bloggers and say, oh, it's going to be this dude for Monday Night Football. It's going to be this guy. No, you got to get it right because this has been chaos under Ted Phillips for how many years? 30 years. I don't care if it's unbelievable. It's, what's his name? I call him from the Simpsons. Freaking always forget this dude's name. The kid with the glasses. That's Millhouse. That's what Ted Phillips is. He's been in there. He's been friends with the Simpsons forever, and he's run them into the ground. So long
Phil,
answer.
So, Phil, what you're saying is you don't want Matt Patricia.
Oh, no.
No, don't get that. Don't give him that type of a. Don't give that guy that type of a.
No.
Brandon, we were talking to I was talking to Michael Halitek on our show before this, the Barely Pregame show, and he mentioned that they did shake up the line, and now you have a line that consists of. And Phil, I thought he was gone. I swear, I thought he was going to be out today. I thought we weren't.
He's like bed bugs.
He comes back cockroaches. He comes right back. I thought Charles Leno Jr., Speed Bump Charlie, as you love to call him, as the phrase that you coined. I thought he was going to be out with a toe. They reported he was going to be out with a toe. All of a sudden, he's starting. So you got a line consisting of Brandon, Leno, Whitehair, Mustafa, Bars, and Affetti. Do you think that Notre Dame connection? And me and you are both Notre Dame guys. And although the pick of Cole Kmet was, looking back at it, I wish they would have drafted a lineman, even though we wanted him. We sorely needed a tight end, and we loved him. Do you think that they're going to find any success with that? Having that Notre Dame combination with Bars and Mustafa next to each other.
Well, obviously they have chemistry coming into the season. Ooh, I'm loud. Hold on. Pretty loud. That was loud. That's the first thing I said. Hold on. Let me fix the mic. But yeah, obviously they're going to have chemistry going into this matchup. The thing with this Packers line is they don't stop the run. Their front seven is not as good as they've been in years past. I think they're a little bit better at defending the pass. I really think the key to this game is getting the game started on the ground first. I know it sounds cliche. I know it sounds meatball, but Mitch is coming back after being out for about 5 or 6 weeks. Obviously, I want to see him throw it all over the yard. But let's get the ground. Let's get the running game established early. Let's see if we can get that O-line cooking because it's something that has held us back all year. It's, if your offensive line can't protect the quarterback, can't give the running back lanes to run with, the train's not leaving the station. That's one of the quotes that I live by. And we've seen that week in and week out. I believe our only touchdown against the Vikings was the Cordero Patterson touchdown on a kick return. So looking at the way Mustafa and Bars played, and especially considering the guys that they played alongside, like Quentin Nelson, Mike McGlinchey, all these quality linemen that they've played alongside, you would hope that they could fit into the Bears to the Bears O-line. But I have a hard time seeing Mitch Trubisky not getting sacked tonight, but I do believe that Mitch Trubisky being back there instead of Nick Foles gives the Bears a little bit of an added element to extend plays, maybe scramble a little bit, take some yards that Nick Foles simply was not capable of getting.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think you agree too, Luke. That we're gonna see pressure, but attacking the edges of that Packers defense and then going back right up the gut again. I think that's what you have to do. I said one of my keys to the game: run for your football lives. You have to run at all costs, and I understand, like you said, that's cliche, and sometimes this offense goes 3 and out really quick, but you have to try to sustain something. You made adjustments for what reason? Like, if you weren't practicing for something, then what the hell were you doing for the past 2 weeks? Phil, my co-host Michael Halitek has a question for you. If you could pull the trigger, who's your choice for GM?
Yeah, I see the question. What's up, Mike? How are you? It's difficult right now because the candidates have to. I could just tell you the prerequisites. They have to be maniacal in understanding what Brandon was just talking about, the importance of the offensive line, and getting somebody in here that puts a priority not on headlines, but on offensive and defensive lines. Those are the things that really stand out. Good scouts understand that cliche is cliche for a reason. And those things are so important to the game of football. I don't care what age or what time frame or what generation. I had people, like you said, attacking me about the I formation. The I formation isn't an offense. It's a formation within offense. And it's something that's a necessity to help get the ground game going and do exactly what Brandon's talking about. I totally agree. You got to be able to run the ball. As far as candidates go, everyone's throwing Louis Riddick's name out there. I would have to look at the candidates, sit down. I have some friends that are scouts in the NFL. People are qualified for the position. It becomes this good old boys network that this guy says, hey, this guy's this. You got to enter, and then they wow you in the interview. No, I want to see what your scouting reports were on these players and how they performed. Everybody's going to miss. Everybody's going to have a fail. It's not an exact science in football, so it's impossible for me. I do know this. You got to get rid of both of these guys because it's going to be crazy tonight. I want to see. It's almost like that accident across the highway. You want to see. But you don't know what's going to happen here. I'm excited because I want to see Mitch, but like you said, you got a Fetty playing right tackle. You got Mustafa and Bars in there. You got Whitehair moving over to give you the best. Juan Castillo, Matt Nagy, sit down. Let's analyze this. This is them now. There's nowhere to hide. So this is what they're putting out there. And hopefully our boy Mitch just takes it right to Nagy's face and points right on the sideline. I hope he does. I mean, we've seen it in this.
Wave him off.
We've seen it in the history of this franchise. The coach and the quarterback at odds. You saw it with Martz and Cutler, McMahon and Ditka, Harbaugh and Ditka.
Anybody in Ditka?
That's okay. Anybody. It's okay to have that relationship of competitiveness. But I think here, I'm keeping it 100. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I think Matt Nagy ruined this kid. And really, I want to see what Mitch has to say about it with his performance tonight. That's really going to be the showcase. And, does the GM, Ryan Pace, have issues with Nagy based on this whole situation? Because if you look, this story of what this season was, COVID, you can't hide behind COVID. Everyone, look at the Broncos today. Everybody's dealing with it. How do you coach? It almost is like the bubbling of spaghetti. Yeah. It's almost done. Now you got to see it. You could see what everybody and how they coach and teach and how they play. I mean, that's where this team is, and that's where I'm excited about this game tonight.
And go ahead, Luke.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know how much longer you guys were here, but I was gonna say let's do picks, and I'm gonna make a huge statement here.
Well, before, because I know Phil, you got to take off, and I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, bro. So real quick, I want to get one more question to you, and just you could go ahead and lead this question into your pick.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you see this defense? And I've been critical. Like I feel like I'm the only one, and people come at my throat because I've been critical of some of the things that the defense is doing. Like if you have to be perfect, then you have to be great. If you want to be great, you have to be great, and that means playing at all times. There's no playing down to because your offense is struggling. You have to be you have to be the shining light. And we saw 2 weeks ago against Minnesota, Eddie went off. He shook up the locker room, and I love it. But I need everybody to hold themselves accountable as well. Every single person in that locker room, because if you're going to go ahead and you're going to single out one man or one unit or anything, you're in the wrong. This is a total team effort. And if your defense is starting to lack because they're upset with the offense, then that's a coaching problem again.
Yes.
Personnel.
I don't know if that's a question.
Hey, sorry, a question. I'm sorry. No, sorry. You're right. So do you think? I'm sorry. My question: do you think that they go ahead and they bounce back with a statement game? The defense is.
The defense, to your point, you hit it out of the park. Eddie Jackson, he's talking, but his play on the football field hasn't been talking. That's where the talking matters the most. You can't point the finger at everybody and then make business decisions on the football field. That's what I see on the tape with Eddie. This is a guy that has to come out there and be a huge, integral part of what you have to do in order to stop Aaron Rodgers. Pagano and company are going to have to play aggressive. We've thought, and Shane, my partner on the Tape Never Lies Network, has said it many times. Sometimes it seems like the Bears defense lacks aggressiveness because they're trying to cover for the lack of offense. And to your point, if that's the case, then they're doing it wrong, because they got to play aggressive in order to get turnovers and be that team that led the league. That's why they won the NFC North in 2018. It's because they had 39 takeaways. It's unbelievable where they are. When you're aggressive, you see Roquan Smith, just his electricity on blitzes and getting home. How do you disrupt Aaron Rodgers and make him look human? You start blitzing him, getting him out of his comfort zone. Understand the importance of setting the edge and being that outside defender. Don't let him out of the pocket. Make him throw within the pocket and make him have to beat you with these big time plays. And I think the defense has to be, and I really think this tonight, aggressive beyond what they've been. This is the crossroad game for the head coach, the GM, and everyone. I know the McCaskies are pissed off. I'm not just saying that. I have several people tell me that George is fed up. What that means to me, he hates Green Bay, and that family hates Green Bay more than anything. So this is the game. So the coach had weeks to prepare. They have to have complete understanding of their roles on this defense and go after it. I even said earlier today, if I was the coach, my goal right now is Kyle Fuller matched up one-on-one with Adams, and wherever he goes, because I know they like to keep Kyle on one side and they keep the young kid, but my goal today would be to switch it up. Don't let them know you're rivals. You play each other twice a year for hundreds of years. You know each other really well. Shake that up on defense. Make Fuller go everywhere Adams goes. Make this quarterback have to do things that he's not comfortable with, and really change it up. And if you have to double Adams, you do it. Let anybody else beat you. Do not let this dude beat you. Stop the run. You've been great at the run. It's a huge, huge loss that you don't have Akeem Hicks tonight. You're obviously out with Roy Robertson Harris. So guys like Mario Edwards, Brent, Urban, and the big fella, McCullers, those guys got to step up and really play. I think my boy John Jenkins is dressed tonight, right? So those guys are going to have to really play their asses off at Bilal Nichols, that interior, to stop the run, get them in third and long, and double this guy. Don't give this guy easy zones. You've seen him, against the Vikings, they single-handedly helped lose that game because they're sitting in soft zones on 3rd and 12. Boom. 17 yards. 3rd and 8. 11 yards. You're sitting in the zone. Got to be aggressive tonight against your rival on the national. You can't just die by 1,000 paper cuts. You got to go after it. You got to do it tonight, especially with Mitch out there. I think the offense is going to... Last thing I'm going to say. The first offensive play, guys, I want everybody watching how our offensive line fires off the football. That is always the telltale sign for me how they're going to play and how the quarterback is going to be successful. Because if Brandon's right and they're running the football, they're going to get to the point where Mitch is going to be able to do things off action and boot that we haven't seen. I mean, you're seeing him do it with Foles, but not Mitch. It makes no sense. It's unbelievable. But I love you, Ivan and Luke. Really good to meet you.
Hey, get your pick in there real quick, Phil.
Oh, my pick. I said it earlier. I'm going to pick with my heart. My gut is my eyes on the tape is telling me it's 35-13 Green Bay. But my heart, I have this all. I've said it earlier. I'll say it like this. It's 17-17 in the fourth. The Packers just kicked the field goal to tie. The Bears scored a touchdown and they on offense and defense. And they kicked the field goal. It's tied up. Mitch gets the ball with 1:30. He drives down the field. He hits David Montgomery on a wheel route, gets you in, bound to the 30. 11 seconds to go. There's Cairo Santos knocking it through the uprights, and the Bears win 20-17. Now that's my.
I like that. Either way, it's fine.
That's my prediction. If it comes through, I made a lot of people money in college because I didn't bet, Luke. I would just tell all these bookies and people, what do you think? What do you think? I go to bet on the one game. It was like Florida versus Samford. And it was like Samford was getting 60. I go, yeah, let's just take Samford. Florida beat them by 61. I lose. So I'm not a bettor. But I would give everybody else bets they would win. So hopefully this bet will go through. I saw someone put $100,000 on it.
Yeah,
you saw that? Anyway, great talking to you. Brandon, good meeting you, man.
Nice to meet you as well.
Sorry I was talking so much. That's what I do.
You're good. I got time.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much,
Go Bears.
Go Bears. All right, guys. Hell is the draft doctor himself, Phil Ottochian from the Tape Never Lies Network. And, keeping it 100 also on Wednesdays. That dude, just love hearing, like, Luke, I'm like, we sit here after the game and we'll listen to Phil talk, Phil and Shane talk, on Bears Hour Live. And, I'll watch the Tape Never Lies. I've watched the Tape Never Lies from last year to now. And it's been saying all the same things that we've been saying, that we've talked about. And it's, just the things that
probably he's talked about
that. And Brandon with us as well. He points them out, and it doesn't make it makes us feel a little more, knowledgeable. Just because we're like, all right, we're not just talking.
We're not the only idiots.
Yeah, we're not idiots. We're not just blabbing, blah 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 blah, running shit out of our mouth. We know what we're talking about, and so does he. He especially Phil, and it was great to talk to him. But Brandon, with that being said about with Mitch and the offensive line being jumbled up. I need to see that chip on Mitch's shoulder. I need to continue to see that chip on Mitch's shoulder. Like, he came out on Friday. That was an interview I've never seen. Like, Mitch doesn't give an interview like that. You know what Mitch's interviews are, Luke? And you of course you do. They're just regurgitated Matt Nagy interviews.
Yeah.
They used to be regurgitated.
He just tells you what you want to hear.
Early in the season.
Exactly. They're just regurgitated Matt Nagy interviews. But this one in particular on Friday, he looked like he didn't give a damn. He looked like he was on a mission, and I hope he keeps that chip, and I hope he plays well because of it.
I'm gonna say it like this: back up against the wall, meat on the table. The dude's ready to play. He hasn't played in how many weeks? 6-7 weeks. He got pulled out. Honestly, I think on the tightest leash that we've ever seen a quarterback get pulled out in. So, with that being said, I think Mitch has a quality game. Like, he's able to move the ball down the field. This is a game where we know the Packers are somehow going to get at least 21, if not more points. The Bears need to be able to match possessions. They need to be able to get some stops. And like Phil said, get some turnovers. If we can get some turnovers, we can play a little bit aggressive. That's what I said on Bears on Tap. I honestly am of the same mindset that in football, you have to play complementary football. So your offense goes and does something that your defense complements, and then, hey, your punter does, he follows suit, or you get a good punt return. Like, you need to win all three phases of football. And tonight, again, it starts up front. They have a couple of quality pass rushers in Zadarius and Preston Smith, people that can get after the quarterback. And I think I think it's Kenny Clark in the middle too. So I mean,
Kenny Clark can wreak havoc. Kenny Clark
they
can
got some dogs.
He just started to.
But like we were saying, if you could run down those edge rushers, you could run down their throat and then hit Kenny Clark after you got him moving left to right. I think that's the key for tonight. I think that's the key to win. If you could sustain running attack, off tackle, running attack, challenging those edge rushers, running right at him, and then hit Kenny Clark in the middle when he's off balance, after left to right, I think you're going to break a big one for David Montgomery.
Yeah, no, I think the offense is, and I said this again on Bears on Tap, is poised for a breakout performance. There's only so many weeks that you can just put up shit and expect it to stick. This week, it's the second week with Laser Beam calling the plays. Mitch is back. Like I stated earlier, the mobility is something that's huge. If you don't have an offensive line and you're a cement mixer like Nick Foles is in the pocket, and you literally cannot run out of the pocket, there's nothing you can do. You're going to get sacked. And eventually he got hurt. He got hurt because his offensive line was not good, and he cannot evade pressure to save his life.
Brandon, you know what pissed me off? And I know you saw it, and Luke saw it too. We all seen this. Matt Nagy was calling plays that would have benefited Mitchell Trubisky. I'm talking about RPOs, rollouts, things that a swift of foot quarterback should be doing. Yeah. And he was giving them to Nick Foles. That just goes to show me that Matt Nagy, one, never wanted Mitch. Two, what was going to do anything in his power to get his guy in the building. And three, we could see the self-sabotage. He wanted this to happen at all costs. Mm-hmm. That's why he went ahead and yanked them, quickly in that Atlanta game. I understand.
They start 3-0, and he gets back to his office, and he's like, "Shit!
Exactly.
How did this happen?"
Exactly. And to be honest, if we'd have lost that Atlanta game, okay, what is he going to do the next week? They were talking all preseason, all season in the preseason, or it's preseason in the season that they're going to need more time.
The fake COVID preseason.
They're going to need a extended amount of time to get things going. So we're like, all right, the first month will be the telltale sign. Week 4, if he shits the bed against Atlanta, then shits the bed again. Cool, it's over. Mm-hmm. But right then and there, it was too much of a aha. I told you guys. I told you we needed my guy. I told you, let's get my guy in here. Mm-hmm. His guy did it for a little bit, and then we saw the flaws of this team.
Yeah. The flaws of the quarterback in general.
Yeah.
It's just that Nick Foles is not – he's not Mitchell Trubisky. And there's a lot of games that they played this year that you've seen gaping holes, where Nick Foles knows he probably should run, but he just doesn't have the – he just not athletic enough to do it.
Yeah.
Trubisky could hit those holes. I'm going to make a huge, bold prediction today. I'm saying Trubisky's over 40 yards and Anthony Miller's over 60. I feel like Mitch Trubisky being mobile and creating that second guess of the defense. Is he going to throw? Is he going to run? And for him to maybe start going like he's going on, cut back in. I'm telling you, I think Mitch is going to run for about 40 yards.
It's funny because we had a question earlier from Gino. He says, "How many yards do you think Mooney and Mitch connect for tonight?" He's going to 65 plus. I think that it's going to be Mooney over Miller. Although I think Miller's going to be significant in the short game, picking up first downs, coming across slants, things like that.
The double move
stuff, getting him out quick. Or hitting him deep down the center of the field, which he seems to be wide open all the time with the double move in the middle of the field. We just need to connect with him. But I think Mooney is going to find some success tonight, especially if we could just sustain the run. The play action is going to work better because Mitch can take off.
And he can throw.
You still have to respect his arm on the run.
This is my biggest prediction for tonight. I don't know if you guys remember this game last year, but do you remember the Cowboys game?
Yeah.
That's the Mitch we need tonight. That's the Mitch we're going to get. His back is up against the wall. He might not even have 6 games. He's got tonight for the rest of his NFL life to prove to Ryan Pace, to prove to Matt Nagy, to prove to whoever is out there watching that may take a shot on him after he is no longer a Chicago Bear. Don't know what's going to happen. Maybe he finds a way to earn his way back on this team in some sort of franchise tag situation. I don't think he'll earn a long-term contract just based off of the next 6 games, but it starts tonight. They got to go 1-0 every week. A lot of, like, the Cardinals lost. Luke, your Bucks lost. There's the Rams lost today. We're in the hunt. And let me remind you, we still play the Lions, we still play the Vikings, and we play the Packers 2 times if you count tonight. So still in the run for the division, right there for the wild card. And Luke, with the way your Bucks are falling, I know we don't want to really talk about it, but
no, we don't.
That game where we beat y'all became a lot more important around these parts of the season.
Yeah, no, it's 100%. I mean, like I said, I feel like the AFC is pretty well buttoned up. Like their top 4 or 5 teams are pretty much well buttoned up. The NFC, I feel like, is a little more mysterious because you got the Rams. Even though they lost to the Niners today, they're still playing well. The Saints have Taysom Hill. We'll see. They have a pretty easy schedule throughout. Tampa is an enigma. Nobody knows what is it. What is it? Are they good? Do they suck? Like nobody really knows. So the NFC has maybe a couple teams you could put at the top, maybe top 2 teams. Then after that, it's kind of
a shit show.
Let the shit fall because who knows what? You never know what.
Yeah, because the thing is too, like with the West, the Seahawks and the Rams keep trading spots. The Cardinals are trading spots until they've hit kind of a rough patch. And I think it's because with a guy like Kyler Murray, although I really think he's a great quarterback and I want to see him be successful, you can only get away with backyard BS for so long. Our guy Ian Book's pretty good at some backyard BS. Love him to death. Hope he brings it to a title this year, but eventually people are going to figure it out. Like when the Broncos started today, they were running with Phillip Lindsay. I don't know what the practice squad guy was, and Royce Freeman at quarterback.
Hinton.
Yeah, they're moving the ball. But it's because, the Saints had no clue what they were going to see. And then once the Saints figured it out, 31-3 before you know it. So
and the thing that we talked about containing, and we're going to jump back to the Bears, but containing quarterbacks like that, like a Kyler Murray, you got to let him pass.
You got to make a beat.
You got to let him pass. You cannot allow him to get off the field. You can't get
your
there
legs
in deep third down situations where they run for 40 yards. And there you go. Now they're in range. Now they're in good position. They get a new set of downs. And now you're in the back of your mind. You're worried about his feet, and then he beats you over the top. Guys like that, you have to let them beat you with their arm first. Wrapping things up real quick, Eric Lambert from Sports Mockery wrote an article reminding us, it was about Robert Quinn, reminding us of what the New York Giants did when they were 9-7 back in, I believe, 2007.
Yeah, when they beat the Patriots.
When they beat the then undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl. Mind you, remember that week, was it week 17 of that season? They faced the Giants again, or they had faced the Giants again, and the Giants almost beat them. It was a 34-31, I think, win by.
I think it was a Sunday night game, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was right before the Sunday night game, but they beat New England, or New England beats them by a field goal, and that was the best shot New England took all year long. The best shot they took all year long, and then to see them again come back in the Super Bowl and win. That Giants team was written off, just similar to the Eagles. Similar, I'm not going to say that the Bears are going to pull off a miracle, but if they could find any type of motivation right now in that locker room, I would look to that, a never quit type of mentality. They talked about how this team doesn't quit early in the season. This team fights.
Maybe
they're fighters. Well, show us that fight tonight. Bring that shit out tonight, especially on defense. And we as well as Phil mentioned, cut their ass loose. They have to play aggressive. You have to go out there and try to find something. I'm not talking about running up on a guy and just trying to beat the ball out while the cavalry is coming. No, I don't need him to drag you. I don't need him to drag you for 10 yards before you make the tackle trying to strip the ball.
I need Eddie Jackson.
I need you to hit his ass, wrap him, and then let everybody come and try to make a play on the ball. And
if you got to jump a route or two, go for it. We got nothing to lose. Like I said, back is up against the wall. If we lose today,
it's over.
You might as well just lose the rest of the games.
If we lose today, I think if we lose today, there's no better than 8-8. There's no better than
Which leads me to my prediction. We're not losing. So you hate to even think that the Bears are losing today, but give me a little Matthew McConaughey. No, we're not losing tonight. I swear. Mitch is back. Mitch is back. It's time. We've lost the last 4 games. In baseball terms, I know you've heard this 1,000 times. We're due.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately what it comes down to is pass rush, turnovers. Gonna need at least 2 of them. And then on top of that, protect the football, move the sticks, and control the clock. Keep it out of Aaron Rodgers' hands.
So you got a number for us?
I believe it's going to be 24-21. It's going to be close. I don't know if it'll be exactly a walk-off like Phil said, but it's going to be a close game. I got the Bears coming out on top.
I'm actually gonna go with the Bears because I think with Laser, obviously his Cordero Patterson project was trash. So I think he's had 2 weeks now to think about it. I feel like they streamlined the offense. I feel like Mitch runs with his feet, like I said. I feel like Anthony Miller has over 60 yards, and I think the Bears win this ugly 27-24.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm opposite just because I've seen this story too many times. I've seen this story too many times, and for me, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be. I think the Bears give a good fight. I think they give a good fight. I think Mitch will be the quarterback, or should be the quarterback for the rest of the season. But I still see them making too many mistakes. I still see them in critical situations, not either staying on the field on offense or not getting off the field on defense. I got this one 30-21 Green Bay.
Wow.
Never. Bear down. Never.
Anyway, guys, Brandon, thank you for coming on, bro. I'll hit you up. Let me know if you could do halftime. I'll hit you up in a little bit. But thank you for coming on. Let everybody know where they can find you and your work.
So you can find my work at BDon300. That's my personal account. And then I'm a part of 3 different podcasts. It's a mouthful, but Bears on Tap is where my Bears coverage. I'm credentialed media NIU, so I am found at Huskies on Tap and then Irish on Tap, or on Tap Irish for Notre Dame coverage. A little bit of everything, all football, all the time with a little bit of basketball sprinkled in there.
Love it, dude. You're busy. It sucks, man, that COVID separated us for such a long time, because me and Brandon were about to be a tandem. We're about to be the gruesome twosome over at SportsZone Chicago, and then COVID struck. That's the thing too. And I'm in grad school right now, and school has not gotten any more fun. I really do not like the online format, but it has brought things like this, the StreamYard, the Zoom, all that stuff to light. So I'm grateful in that aspect for it. Hell yeah. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up on the Basic Monsters Game Day podcast. Big game tonight. Hopefully it's a tight one, man. I don't want to see a blowout. I don't want to see a blowout for my Bears. I want to see some fight. I want to see a complete team effort in this one. Not the ones that we've seen in the last couple of weeks where it seems like the Bears fade in the end. No motivation, no motivation, confusion, and just a lackluster effort late in game.
No, it's because you remember early in the season they were coming back in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Now they're not coming back in the fourth quarter. So they need to keep them tight, period. I mean, it needs to be a tight game because you can't let Aaron Rodgers get ahead of you because this team is not built for coming from behind.
No.
So you got to keep it tight with him. So
with that being said, Bears by 1,000.
They're in it.
You say what?
Said with that being said, Bears by 1,000.
Yeah, I would hope.
I'll take that bet.
Petty Ramos says, I want to see some urgency. Patty, so do we. The urgency needs to be there. All right, that's it. We're going to wrap things up because I want to go ahead and use the bathroom before we watch this game.
Here we go. All right, bear down.
Bear down, guys. You've been watching the Basic Monsters podcast on SportsZone Chicago. I'm Ivan Vargas. That's Luke Nettles. And that's Brandon Suarez. Make sure you check him out on Bears on Tap. I don't know, wherever they can find you. All right, guys, we're going to get out
on the internet. I'm there.
Bear down, y'all. Peace.
Bear down.
Captain Insano shows no mercy.
Straight cash, homie.
on to your butts.
I just heard my favorite band is in town. I'd love to get good seats, but everywhere I've looked, the ticket sites have crazy service fees.
Haven't you heard of TixSplits?
Who?
TixSplits. They don't gouge you with crazy fees. The price they advertise is the price you pay, plus a small delivery fee.
Never pay service fees again. Go to TixSplits.com today. TixSplits.com. Guaranteed seats, low prices. That's TixSplits.com. Every ticket, every venue, everywhere.